Mix 1041, thanks to CHS Live, Dale Halfaker and all of his group at CHS Live, we have two very special guests with us this afternoon, along with Coach Tygard, and I'm going to let him introduce our two special guys. You see them roaming the sidelines, giving instructions, saying what to do, what not to do to the players. But anyway, welcome to McDonald's Coaches Bench here only on Mix 1041. We appreciate Mark Smith and everybody at the area McDonald's restaurants for bringing you Coaches Bench each and every week, except last week because of the bye week. Coach Tygard coming off a big win, homecoming win over Red Bank 2 weeks ago. Just hit lightly on that game.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get a big homecoming win, you know, for that day, it's great. Homecoming has lots of distractions and pep rallies and all that. So I don't think anybody expected a 51-7 win. So we were thrilled about that. Played well. Kids were locked in, did a great job. And, you know, we had a great game. And you know, we were talking last week during the bye. I was like, man, I need to get some of my assistant coaches on here. So we've got Coach Reynolds. He's our receivers coach, our assistant head coach, our head futures coach. He's my right-hand guy. And then Coach Jones. Tim Jones came with me from Blackman. He does special teams and linebackers, and they're both doing a great job. So I wanted everybody to kind of start to meet all my guys. So we got so many new ones, so I wanted to get out there in the community.
Well, it's great to have them with us today. Coach, tell us about your athletes through the first 6 games.
My athletes through the first 6 games have been really good. We've been surprising a lot of people and shocking a lot of people how well we can exploit their talent and show how much talent Cleveland has here, because we have so much. And then people are realizing, like, wow, like if you put it all together and y'all come together, this is what people have been waiting Cleveland to show how well this talent bed is. And we have plethora of talent here at Cleveland, and we love to show it off. And we've been doing a good job, and we want to continue to even do it even more.
5-1 says you're doing a great job.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Ranked number 7 in the state this week. Coach Jones, tell us about your crew.
Well, I'll tell you what, my crew, my linebackers, we've kind of created a unique culture. You've probably hopefully seen on Twitter, online, the Macho Man theme. The cream always rises to the top, so that's for you guys. But I just got a group of hardworking guys who just love football, and they come to work every single day. And it's a senior heavy group, and I couldn't appreciate more for what they do for us.
Very good. Coach, this week, or tonight, as this program's pre-recorded, but tonight, going up to Bearden, they're number 6, you're number 7. On paper, they look awful good. They're coming off 2 big wins. They beat Farragut 2 weeks ago, one of their big rival games. And then last week, overtime, they beat Maryville for the first time in 30 years. So I'm thinking they're flying pretty high.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. So Coach Jones is entering his 2nd year there. He's a friend of mine. He was the offensive coordinator at Powell when they won their state championships. Okay. He's kind of known throughout the state as he's the director of the Tennessee Future Stars Middle School All-Star Game. And so, you know, it's also a coincidence that they've got some of those middle school all-stars playing at Bearden now. And so on paper, they are absolutely loaded. They're one of the top 5 talented teams in the state. Just to give you an example, their starting running back, Jaheim Merriweather, transferred from Gallatin to Bearden. He's out. He's committed to Purdue. And then they replace him with a backup running back who's run for 15 touchdowns in 3 games and has offers from Memphis and everywhere else all over the country. Their offensive line, they've got a transfer from Meigs County, Big Joe Scott. He's 6'8", 350 pounds on the O-line. So their whole O-line is about 300 pounds across the board. Their left tackle is Lee Smith's son, who played at Tennessee and played in the NFL for a long time. Right. They've got Chaz Smith is a sophomore corner, 6'3" corner, got offers from Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, Arkansas. I mean, they've got 6 or 7 major Power 5 players, and the majority of them are sophomores and juniors. And so they're flying high right now. They're huge, and they run the ball. And they're probably, you know, one of the better defenses we'll see on the season.
If I read it correctly, they only threw a couple of passes against Maryville last Friday. Is that their norm, or is that something just that they went almost all the time to the run against Maryville, or has that been the way they've played all year?
Actually, they've changed a little bit throughout the year. You know, so to start the year, they lost to Alcoa and West, and they were airing the ball out a little more. They got behind in those games, so they had to throw. Or against Maryville, they absolutely dominated up front, and so they really didn't even need to attempt passes. Honestly, the game we were at both games. I've been at the Farragut game watching them. We were all on their sideline, and then
we was there.
We went
Was
to
anybody throwing things?
No, we were on the Farragut sideline, and so we were talking to their coaches during the game. They're like, "Man, these guys are good," and we wanted to get a feel for the atmosphere at the Bearden Stadium, which I'll talk about. It's awesome. And then we went to the Maryville game last week, and we sat in the stands on the Bearden side, and just watching the game. Really, the game shouldn't have been as close as it was. Bearden, just from a talent perspective, is light years ahead of most teams. Them and Bradley are probably the two most talented teams on paper in our region. Have the most Division I players. And so, it's going to be a big challenge. Nobody in Tennessee really expects us to win this game. And so it's going to be a big deal. And it's on the road, and it's the third homecoming game that we're playing on the road. So, that's worked out in our favor so far.
Yes, it has.
And our kids are getting sick and tired of being the homecoming opponent. So hopefully it works out in our favor again like it has the last two times.
Well, saying that nobody's expecting a Cleveland W, it makes it all sweeter at the end of the game when you go out there and do the handshake with the other team, and it's a good game, but we beat you.
It can be, and honestly, that's just part of playing in our region, though. Preseason rankings don't mean anything. Rankings right now don't mean anything. Right. They don't play the games on paper. We were at the school last year that had all Division I Power 5 prospects, and we lost to Oakland in the quarterfinals, who didn't have as many. So where you're playing at the next level doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win. It's just how do your kids play, and we're coming off the bye week, so the good news is we've had 2 weeks to prepare for Bearden. The bad news is we didn't play a game last Friday, and so like at practice yesterday, we're trying to get caught back up to speed how we work. So they've had 5 days off. So it's going to be a challenge no matter what, and it's a great atmosphere up there, and that's something we're going to have to be able to handle. So it's a big stadium. They all sit on one side. They've got 150 people in the band. Our sideline is actually their stands sideline. So it's what you would think would be the home sideline, and they do it so the crowd noise and their giant student section can kind of affect you. We think it'll help us because we play with so much noise at practice anyways.
Yes, you
do. We need a lot of juice. So we're excited, and it's going to be a great opportunity on Friday, and it's going to be a fun high school game.
It would be a big game, a huge game, region standings at stake. Both teams undefeated in the region thus far. We'll take our first break here on McDonald's Coaches Bench and be back with these guys in just a moment. Segment 2 of Coach's Bench, and thanks again to Mark Smith, everybody with McDonald's restaurants in this area. Coach Reynolds, I got to ask, Coach Tygard gave us his thoughts a moment ago about going to Bearden. What are you telling your guys this week about playing up there?
Playing at Bearden, we've been talking to our guys mostly about how we can affect them by if we got to block well, because we noticed how well their defense tackles. Their defense is very exceptional. They haven't had many runs broken on them. Very rarely has a run broken more than 20 yards. Maryville had one good run last week that we saw in person, and he still broke. The kid broke a couple of tackles just to even make it to 20 yards. And they haven't given up any long passes either. They've given up a couple, but not many. So the defense is very stingy. So we're just telling our guys we need to stick to what we've been doing, stick to how we've been teaching it, and also main emphasis on we got to block better on the perimeter, because their perimeter guys, their linebackers are very good tacklers, and their safeties. So that's the main thing we've been keying my wide receivers on. Just make sure they maintain that good.
All right. Same question, Coach Jones.
Yes, sir. Well, the focus this week from the special teams perspective, being the coordinator, is one of our philosophies is we always set the tone. So when you're on a road game and you're the away team and you're in that atmosphere, setting the tone on special teams goes a long way. I think we saw that at the Farragut game. I felt like we played pretty well on that side of the ball. So from a special teams perspective, our goal is to play fast, get downfield, tackle, and get off to a good start. And then their offense, coming from the linebackers, they're run a lot of zone scheme, so outside, inside zone, recognizing what we see on film, what we've installed this week, and just making sure that we stick to our technique, get downhill, and tackle. Okay. So, we expect to go on the road and, put in our game plan.
Let me ask you guys one more question before I get back to Coach. The player that from summer until now your position guy, who would you say has improved the most? Doesn't have to be a starter, but just somebody who has improved a lot in your eyes.
From my position, the wide receiver position, we got one player, Trent Collins.
Yes.
Plays wide receiver number 15. He started out very young as.
He didn't play football last year.
Yeah,
so,
he
he's
had a
junior
year
that
off,
didn't
and so
play,
in my eyes, he's like still a rookie, like trying to learn the ropes. But he was good enough to start, like to take some starting. And now we had him playing with us against the JV and playing with us with the JV, and then he has turned into. You can just tell he's turned a new leaf, and now he's playing so much better with confidence, and you can just tell he has all of a sudden blossomed into the star that we want him to be. And we knew it was in him, but you know how you just got to kind of push that kid to make sure he goes that extra mile to see what we actually see in him. And it would be Trent for my group because he's turned into one of the players that we knew he could be.
Yeah, Terry,
Right.
we put him in at JV quarterback last night against Walker Valley, and so the JV guys won again. So I think they're still undefeated on the year.
we're
aren't they?
still undefeated.
And Chase Stevens went down in the Ray County game, so we literally have had no JV quarterback now for 2 weeks.
Right.
And but they put Trent back there, and he absolutely had his best game. And he had a couple catches against Red Bank, and so he's really doing a good job.
Very good. Coach, same question.
Yes, sir. I would have to go with one of my seniors, actually, Avery Hughes. He has worked extremely hard from the moment I showed up in a fury in the spring and introduced myself to these guys. And he's bought in, and, it's one of those things where he's a senior but had lacked some of the playing experience that a lot of times you get by that point. And so just the fact of how he's worked and built up his confidence and willing to do anything we ask him to do, I couldn't say more about the kid.
Interviewed him a couple of weeks ago, and he was all smiles and all energy.
Yes.
He was totally bought in, and he couldn't wipe the smile off of his
It's
face.
amazing what a little bit of confidence and having
Yes.
fun and believing in your teammates and your coaches and all
believing
that stuff will do to a team. So
Absolutely.
those two kids, it shows exactly how we've kind of changed as the season gets further.
The culture is building week by week.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
So, honestly, compared to the summer and all the Raider drills we did at 6 a.m. in the spring, and then even once you hit the season, and then the Walker Valley game and all that was the turning point for the season. And then, now it's almost like business mode, and the kids are having fun, and we're going to have our, our Taco Tuesday practice and play our music and all that stuff. But at the same time, like they're expecting to work. They know exactly what the standard is, and so they know the opportunities that are ahead in the next 3 weeks. But we have to focus on one game at a time, one play at a time, one practice at a time.
We'll take our final break on McDonald's Coaches Bench, a very special McDonald's Coaches Bench with Coach Reynolds, Coach Jones with us today. We'll be back after this break. Coach Tygard, the Bearden game tonight, tremendously important. We'd love to see a huge Cleveland contingent up there rooting on the Blue Raiders.
Yeah, it'd be great. Honestly, everybody's on one side, and so the stadium is going to be slammed. It's their homecoming. Their student section is probably 5 times ours. It's huge, and they do a great job. They're loud, and then they've got 150 people in the band, and the band plays the entire game. The drum line comes down at halftime, and they park all 50 drummers right on the 50-yard line, right behind our bench, and they play the whole second half. So it's loud. If they score, they've got the LED lights that flash. They're playing music. It's a rowdy environment. It actually helps us because our kids really feed off that.
Right.
What would hurt us is going somewhere that's perfectly quiet and playing nothing but some slow country. But
Don't give anybody any ideas.
Yeah, well, I don't think we play anybody like that in the rest of the season. But then you got to bring your own energy. But here, it's from the minute you get off the bus. Bearden is a team. When you look across the warm-ups, we're not going to win the warm-up looks contest.
Oh, okay.
They are massive. They've got all the gloves on of the different colleges that are recruiting them and all that stuff. And so, if our kids don't get off the bus juiced to play the game, then something's wrong with them. So we're excited.
Well, a challenge will be met.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
You don't back up from anybody.
No, well, you can't in this region.
No.
So, and it's not going to get any easier. So you might as well go win this one and then figure it out next week.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of question you that I asked the other guys. Somebody that doesn't have to be a starter, doesn't have to have a world of stats. Somebody that has caught your attention, or maybe a couple of people that have caught your attention since summer until now.
There's been a few. I mean, just off the top of my list, I mean, L.J. Adams is doing a much better job. He's completed 68% of his passes. You know, we've got probably 2,500 total yards on the season. He's accounted for about 1,400 yards of those yards. So he's doing a good job and working to improve each day. From what changed our offense standpoint is when Brian Beard went back to running back.
Yes.
And you know, he was not a highly touted kid or preseason awards or any of that, and he's absolutely changed our offense because he runs so hard. You know, Micah Jordan has improved. Lucas Szymborski was a great player last year, but he's improved his perimeter blocking so much to where now it gives us some advantages in the game plan. But probably the most improved guy outside of our offensive lineman is probably Sam Sarton. You know, he came in from Gordon Lee and was kind of late to the party. And, you know, he had to learn everything from scratch. But, I mean, honestly, during the second scrimmage we were playing, I don't think he played till the third scrimmage. And his blocking has improved tremendously. He's catching balls. And so, no, he's a big, huge junior with a giant frame. And so we anticipate a lot of work from him for next year. And then from a JV perspective, Sawyer Boyd has probably had the best season out of the JV group. Yes. He's absolutely dominant over there. And so we're going to have a lot of kids that are coming back. You know, we've said this year, you better get us now, because this year might be the worst season we have, because we're so excited about some of these young kids and our freshman team. And the future's bright on Raider Drive.
Yes, it is. And I'm not just trying to repeat everything he said, but it's a new culture. It's a new tradition starting this year. And the Blue Raiders take on Bearden tonight. If you can't be at the game, it'll be on Mix 104.1. But we hope you're there. We can't explain it as good as you see it with your own two eyeballs. Sure. Gentlemen, it's been a real pleasure. I appreciate you guys coming by.
Yes, sir.
And so anyway, Terry Evans saying, see you next week.
Go Raiders.
Go Raiders.